Okay, some more very typical mistakes. These are the mistakes which my students have made over the last week. So, number one, it's a mistake with reporting verbs, really. So if you would like to try my series on reporting verbs to find out more information, please do. So, number one, there is a word missing. Ask is very similar, though not exactly the same, to tell. Yeah. Now, with tell, we always tell someone to do something. Yeah, tell someone to lock the door. I told him to lock the door. I told him to open the window. I asked him to lock the door. I asked him to open the window. So Holmes asked Watson to punch him in the face. You've noticed I do a lot of Sherlock with my students, a lot of the TV shows as well, the American one, the British one. And you really must use the subject after ask, just like with tell. Now, I did say it's not exactly the same as tell, and that's because with tell, you can tell someone that. I told him that I was interested. I told him that I was an Englishman. That's correct. But with ask, it's not correct. You cannot ask someone that. You can ask someone to do something. You must ask someone to do something, but you can't say, I asked him that he would. It's not okay. Okay, so it's worth remembering that it's not possible. It's not exactly the same as tell. Okay, number two, it's again using a reporting verb, but that's not the mistake here. Now, the student had done very well because she's remembered that she needs past perfect here, and you really do need past perfect. So she's done the hard part. The only mistake she's made here is that you have plastic surgery. You don't do surgery, you have surgery, you have an operation. We also say have an operation. So here, all she needs to do is change done to the have third form, which is had. That she had plastic surgery. Okay, number three. Watson approved that this was true. Now, you can't approve of a fact. You can only approve of someone's behaviour or someone's actions, because approve means that you think that their behaviour was good in some kind of way. Or you can approve of someone's choices in life. For example, you can say her parents don't approve of her new boyfriend, and that means that they don't think he is a good choice. They don't think he is a good guy. So approve, it's when you give your thumbs up to someone's behaviour or someone's choices. And that's not the word actually that the student wanted here. What the student wanted to say was something different. Watson confirmed that this was true. Confirm means verify. Another word which is confirm is verify. It means that you state that something is true. And so Watson confirmed that this was true. You can say Watson approved of Sherlock Holmes's politeness or something like that, or Watson approved of Sherlock Holmes' behaviour. You can certainly say that, but you can't say Watson approved that this was true. Okay, I hope I've made that clear. Please ask questions under the video if it's not, but it's a vocabulary mistake. Number four, the problem is with countability. Now remember that there are a lot of words in English which are uncountable, and proof is one of them. So Holmes didn't have any proof. Holmes didn't have any evidence, which is also uncountable here. You wouldn't say evidences. You would say Holmes didn't have any evidence. Holmes didn't have any proof. Okay, on to number five. A referee hasn't to be super fit. Now, I hope you can see immediately that this is the part which is wrong. And the student, who was a very young girl in this case, she knows have to, she knows has to, and she's tried to make it negative. You know, have to or have to like must when you have an obligation. But when you have no obligation, I mean, for example, some referees are not in fantastic physical condition. I mean, the football players, they have to be super fit. But a referee doesn't have to be super fit. So please remember that to make this negative, you just use a don't or a doesn't, or a didn't if it's in past tense. Don't, doesn't, or didn't. I didn't have to come Yeah, to the party. It wasn't an obligation. I didn't have to go. I didn't have to work on Sunday. Maybe that's a better example. I didn't have to work on Sunday because there were no lessons. Okay, number 6. He is looking to the mirror. No. To is for movement. It's when you're going to somewhere, or driving to somewhere, or running to somewhere, or flying to somewhere. It's movement. And looking is not movement. It's just you're standing still when you look. Now remember that with looking, we very often use a different preposition. We use at. He is looking at the mirror. And you also stare at someone, you also point at someone, you also glare at someone or glance at something. So all of these looking words are at, and even shouting, when you're standing still and shouting at someone, screaming at someone. So this at is very often used when you're doing something towards someone, but you're not moving. You're staring at them, you're shouting at them, you're looking at them, listening to someone. So it's not the same for all verbs. It's not a rule, but it's just a something to remember, because many verbs where you're standing still and you're doing something towards them are just at. Okay, please ask if you have any questions, as always, about other prepositions, but I've made lots of videos on prepositions, so try those videos too. Number 7, have you never been to Greece? Yes, I have never been there. Very common mistake here. Remember that in English, this is the wrong word in this sentence. What you need to say is no. In order to agree with that sentence, you're saying, no, I have never been to Greece. Okay? You don't say yes to agree with a negative statement. You say no to agree with a negative statement. And that will cause a lot of confusion if you make a mistake with that. People will get confused. English speakers will certainly get confused if you use yes when you mean no and no when you mean yes. It is confusing. Okay, number 8. 4 years ago, I married to a Muscovite. This is it's a difficulty with marry, because you get married to someone. Get married. She could have said 4 years ago I got married to a Muscovite, and it would have been correct. Yeah, if you get married, then you get married to. But if you just marry, then 4 years ago I married a Muscovite. No preposition. Now it is with to, marry, if it's passive. So if you say I am married to, if it's passive and not active, then you need to. I am married to a Muscovite. Okay, so quite a difficult one there. There's a lot to remember there. You get married to someone, you marry someone, and you are married to someone. So quite complicated. Okay, and to number 9, she was strongly embarrassed. This is an adverb collocation, and it's a wrong collocation. You shouldn't collocate strongly with embarrassed. Now, if you watch my adverb collocations videos, you'll see a lot of information about these collocations. That it's an advanced level of English, of course, to get all of these correct. I think with emotions, we usually say deeply. She was deeply embarrassed. You can also say deeply upset, or I deeply regret not writing to you earlier. Deeply, very often for emotional words. Emotions are deep. Okay? They're not strong, but they are deep. Coming on to number 10, it's the same thing. It's adverb collocations, and I actually checked this one after the lesson, and I found a few online on Google. So some people use this highly impolite. I still don't think it's very common. It only came up 400,000 times, which sounds like a lot, but it's not many compared to the real collocations which you put in. I wouldn't usually say highly polite, and I wouldn't say highly rude, definitely not. I would say it was extremely impolite, or incredibly, or unbelievably, or really. So there's a lot of different possibilities there which I think work very well with polite. I mean, really works with everything. If you're ever not sure, try using really. But here, it was extremely impolite, it was incredibly impolite, it was unbelievably impolite. These three words, extremely, incredibly, unbelievably, they work very well with weak adjectives, like big, small, rude, impolite, gradable adjectives, they're also called. So please try my videos on adverb collocations if you want to learn more about that, and also my video on strong adjectives. Okay, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about these mistakes, please put them under the video, and I hope to see you all soon.